Hi, lovelies. Welcome to Managing My Money with Rosa. Today is one of my favorite days, and that is Transfer Thursday, where we talk about how we are intentionally investing for our future. If you're new here, my name is Rosa. My channel is usually about cash envelopes, sinking funds, savings challenges, how we stash our money, where we stash our money, why we stash our money, and it is also about our investing journey. If any of that sounds of interest to you, I'd love if you take a second, hit subscribe if you have not already. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending a bit more of your time with me. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And everyone, please take a second, smash that thumbs up button for me. All right, so last week was really the first week, or not last week, 2 weeks ago, was really the first time that I stopped and talked about a handful of different things with my Transfer Thursday. Got lots of questions. Some of you also chimed in with some answers, and I really got to thinking, is this the best channel for me to be going through this, contemplating starting an additional channel that is just about my portfolio, about my dividends, about some investing in things that I have learned, and just some general information. I am by no means a financial consultant. I do this personally for myself and my family so that we can have stuff both in retirement and eventually move over and take over an income from what we are earning ourselves by going to work and what we can earn through dividends for us. Also playing a couple of bounces here and there just in stocks that I like and love. So I'm contemplating moving that to a second channel. If you think that would be a great idea, I would love your input. Just not 100% certain that what it takes to make all the videos for this every week and the videos for another channel. I just don't know that there's time, but I'm not certain that Transfer Thursday is the best place that's this channel, especially considering most of my content is about savings challenges, cash envelopes, and sinking funds. So just trying out a handful of different things. But anyways, on to our Transfer Thursday and a couple of the things that we are doing. The first is an IRA. Individual retirement account is what that stands for. You have two choices when you choose an IRA. You can choose a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Traditional IRA is where your money goes in pre-tax, meaning they don't do any taxes on the money that you go in. The positive thing about doing that is that it lowers your gross income that the government then taxes you on at the end of the year. You can also do a Roth IRA, and a Roth IRA is where you don't pay taxes now, or you do pay taxes now on it, but you don't pay any taxes on the growth that happens in your IRA. I have chosen to do a Roth IRA because I don't want to pay taxes. There are pros and cons to both sides of the fence. By doing a Roth, I don't get a tax break now on my income, but at the same time, when I retire, I don't have to worry about paying taxes on it. One of the cons to doing a Roth is that right now I probably am in a higher tax bracket than I will be when I retire. So the taxes would probably be less when I retire, but I'm okay with that. It is the choice that we have made in our house to do that. Some of you are going, Rosa, why does that say 2024? That's because you have a max, which is $7,000 until you reach age, and I don't remember if it's 50, 55, or 60. You do what's called catch up, and then you get an extra $1,000 on top of it. But until you reach that max for the year, you can actually continue putting money into last year's IRA as long as we haven't made it to April 15th. Once we make it to April 15th, I'll be forced into putting money into my 2025 IRA. My IRA has not been a priority for us. We were busy paying off our debt. Now we are busy saving $10,000, so that savings challenge has taken precedence over this, but we are putting $50 every one of my checks into here so that it can continue to grow. You'll notice there's some scratch outs, and that's because I didn't realize I made a mistake. I accidentally put that I had added an extra $50 in here, which I did not, so I had to go make some changes. So we are now only up to $600 for 2024. We will not make it to that $7,000, but starting my 2025, once we've saved our $10,000, this will become one of our priorities, and because of that, we will hit our $7,000 every year afterwards. So there's our IRA tracker. Wanted to do just some quick stuff about our investing. We invest for retirement. That's why we invest. And in doing so, I believe we should have both short-term and long-term goals. If you've been around and you've seen my last couple of, well, two weeks ago was the first time I talked about short-term and long-term goals. They really haven't changed, but I'm going to go through them. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in chat. And these are goals that I would like to meet or exceed by the end of 2025. The first one is I would like to buy at least $5 every month for all of my focus positions. I am in positions that I'm working on the process of getting out of. I'm not going to invest in them if my goal is to sell them. So I don't have all of them. Like, I have more that I am receiving dividends from that I am actually adding $5 every month, and that's okay. And so far, we're doing great on this goal. I use a online tracker called trackyourdividends.com. It's free. It's starting to get a lot more ads than it used to have when I first started using it, but whatever, it is free. You can choose to connect it to your brokerage. I make a choice not to. I want them separate. I don't want it connected at all. I don't want it to know what I have in the bank. So because of that, I have to manually input my stuff, but when I do, it then pops out a magic number and it tells me how much I am expected to earn annually. That annual estimated income said that it was $500 at the beginning of the year. I would like by the end of 2025 for it to say $750. And then by the end of 2025, I would like to have at least 4 positions that drip at least 1 share or more per month. It started the year with 0 positions dripping. I actually made it up to 4. When our income taxes came in, I took some money, dropped it in there with the intent of growing 2 specific positions because we were at 2. Last month we were at 2. Now we are up to all 4. And now really it's just a matter of, will they continue to drip 1 full share if the stocks go up? So it's kind of a give and take. I'm kind of in at the minimum of what I can be in order to drip 1 full share. So it may or may not continue to be 4. It may fluctuate depending on what's going on with everything, but we have actually reached this goal as of February. We have some long-term goals, and these goals are anywhere from 10 to 20 years. Some of you are absolutely adorable. I love all the conversations and the Rosa, you realize that's not realistic, right? I do. I have lofty goals. Some will take 20 years, some will take 25 years. Some I probably won't see for very, very, very long time. And then the replace your honey's income. Well, how much does your honey make? It doesn't really matter how much my honey makes. What matters is I'm a math nerd. Let's start there. And I know that even if I have a 4% yield, in order to even just, and I like numbers that work easily for me. So even if I want to have a $40,000 income for him, I know that if all I have is a 4% yield, I know that I have to have $1 million in the account. We're not close to that at all. We are not. And I know that. But again, the math nerd in me is all over those numbers. I know that that is an exponential amount, especially when I'm starting where I'm starting. And that leads us into currently my rate of return is 8%. So a second ago, I just did it off of a 4%. They say on average, you'll earn 4% a year. What I have us invested in at the present moment is giving us that 8% yield, which we are currently earning right now. So instead of using that 4%, which we would need $1 million, at 8%, we need $500,000. So $500,000 in our dividend portfolio, earning 8%. Again, we're not close, especially when you find out, oh, that's okay. Especially when you find out that one of my 10 to 20 year goals is to have a $100,000 portfolio. And we currently only have 7,200 in here. And that was as of the end of January. I won't update this again until the end of February, and that's just because I put everything in to track your dividends and it pops out magic numbers for me. So I know that this, I'm going to be real, I'm hoping this is more like a 5-year goal than a 10-year goal. And I've been told that once you make it to 10,000, it starts to grow a little faster. Once you make it to 50,000, it feels like it grows a little faster. Once you make it to 100,000, it really starts to get faster. So that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm really hoping to get to that 100,000 before 10 years. Really, the goal is to be 5 realistically. Once we mark off a couple of things on our checklist of things that we want to save for, we will be focusing on dumping more and more and more into our dividend portfolio. And the last long-term goal I have is that every position will drip 2 or more shares every month. Once I make it to that drip for it's 1 share, it does seem to start to grow a little faster. I love it. I actually have one position that I'm not interested in continuing with. Once it reaches a certain price point, I'm going to sell and get out. But it drips 1 share, it drips more than a share, and it continues to grow and grow and grow and grow. I'm not adding any money into it, but it is continuing to grow at a wonderful rate for me. So those are my long-term goals. If you have any questions about them, please feel free to drop it in chat. And then let's talk about what we bought the second half of February. So, oops, we didn't start with the right one. We did not. For some reason, they're out of order. Advanced Auto Parts, just so happens that we'll end up purchasing in it 3 times this month. I have not made the second purchase. I need to. And then I'll end up making a third before the end of February is over, but we're doing good in it. Advanced Auto Part is one that we are growing intentionally for 2 reasons. One, just so happens to pay us a dividend, 25 cents a share, but it also, we are waiting for it to hit a certain price point so we can sell all of it and make some money. All right, and then Acre drips, AGNC drips, ARCC. Let's get to who we bought. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Now, some of this was tax money, so it was fantastic. So some of these are going to be huge amounts instead of just my $5. So remember I said I wanted to invest at least $5, and that's what I do. I have all of my stuff goes through Fidelity. Fidelity is a full service brokerage, which I absolutely love. I have tax experts on hand. I have investing experts on hand. I can take classes whenever I want to. It's all free through Fidelity. And I know that if I have a question about anything, and I did a couple of times in the very beginning, I got to pick up the telephone. Actually, I'd messaged and said, hey, can someone call me? And they'd give me a call back, and then we'd have conversation on why did this happen? Why did that happen? I don't understand this. I don't understand that. So that's one of the benefits of, I love Fidelity. I will always speak highly of them. I get nothing in return. I don't have an affiliation or anything with them, but I love Fidelity just because of all of the options and things that it gives me. So when I go in, I can tell it the dollar amount. I tell it I want $5 of my particular stock. I tell it I want market because I just want to buy it. I'm not trying to get in at a particular price point. I tell it I want $5 at market, buy. And then it pops out an order for me, and sometimes it's $5 and sometimes it's a little less just because of the current price of whatever it is that I have done. So I popped in $5 and it pulled out $4.96, and that $5 earned me almost 1/10 of a share, 0.092 shares. In doing this, that's almost 10% of what it was. OBDC, again, I put in $5. It popped out $4.96, and I walked away with $3 or 0.332, basically a third of a share. OHI, put in my $5. It popped out $4.98, and it bought me 0.135 shares. Love it. PFLT, again, popped in $5. It popped out $4.99, and that got me almost half a share, 0.454. I also got paid from them already this month, yay! And it was only $3.23, and I earned 0.288 shares. That's okay. One of the things, you guys had some great questions. One of the questions was, do I get taxed on this every month? The reality is I have no clue. I have it set so that I don't even really get paid. I call it that, but instead it automatically reinvests. So one, I don't get paid, but two, I have no idea if I pay on that, and it would be at the end of the year when they take all of it. I use TurboTax, Fidelity, it just all transports, and I don't need to worry about any of it. PNNT. So I told you that we took tax money and really built up a couple of positions. One of those positions was PNNT. This time, instead of doing I want $5 market submit, this time I told it I wanted 50 shares market value. I didn't care what I got in at. And then buy. That was $358.50. We now have 95 shares. And because of that, as long as PNNT stays at its current price, we actually will begin to drip one full share. Yay! Absolutely love it. I don't know if that's where I put them. I put it below it. Of course I put it below it. That's just too high for me. All right, so I drip one full share now of PNNT, but that is totally dependent on what is the current price point for PNNT. Now, we got paid before I bought the 50 shares. It came in at $3.60, and I got almost a half a share for it, so 0.508 shares, so love it. PSEC is the other one that we, again, wanted to really build up and bulk up. Put 20, or I told it I wanted 20 shares. It popped out $83.60. And then that gives us 123 shares, and I'm waiting to get paid now. There are conditions on when you have to have shares purchased before you'll get a dividend for it. It's called an ex-dividend date. I'm going to be real, I didn't look to see if I'd made it in or not. I have a feeling that in February I'm only going to get paid about $3, $4, not not the almost $5 that I'm expecting to get once it finally begins to drip one plus shares. And that's okay, because I don't mind. I just was excited that I was able to get my 20 shares. RATM, I told it $5, popped it $4.99, and I got almost half a share. Yay! So I got 0.420 shares. So is one that I only started the year with 1.26 shares. There are a couple that I have less than 2 shares. Those are ones that I am working on focusing on getting up to 2 shares. So is one of those. So I went ahead and used a little bit more tax money. I did put in a dollar value only because I didn't know how many shares it was going to give me. It's what was left off of the 500 that we put in. So we got $57.95 worth, and we got just over half a share, 0.685. So we are creeping up on the 2. We're not quite there yet. It's okay. I'm not worried about it. T got $5. Really, it popped out $4.98, and I got 0.201 shares, and I did actually get paid from them this month, $1.34, and I got 0.056 shares. Definitely not a lot of shares, but that's okay. I'm not worried about it. Verizon, it popped out $4.99 with 0.125 shares, and I got paid from them, and it was $1.53, and I earned 0.039 shares. I want you to understand that I only have 2 shares with them, 2.25 shares with them. I don't think it was the 2.4 that actually got almost 2.5. It was the 2.2 that got paid dividends. I made $1.53, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but for 2 shares, $1.53 is not bad. ExxonMobil is highly priced for me. When I possibly can, I try to put $10 into ExxonMobil. I was able to do it this time because, like, I didn't buy $5 of I didn't buy $5 of PNNT or $5 of PSEC. So because of that, I had my $10. It took $9.94, and I earned 0.090 shares. Basically, ExxonMobil is $100. And then the rest of these are blank in case I purchase additional funds. And those are all of the positions that I bought, minus a Advanced Auto Parts. And we've gotten paid throughout the month. I will tally it up, total it up, when I see you again in March for this, so that you know how much I got paid in February. I'm expecting a much lower rate of return than I got in January, just because January has so many that pay me, and I know that February is one of my lower payments, and that's okay. It fluctuates. Every quarter I have one that's a rock star, I have one that comes in close behind, and I have one that looks like it is just dragging along. But that's just because when people pay you. Like, I got something from Cube last month. I won't get anything February, March. I won't see a payment again from them until April. That's okay. I just know how the cycle rolls. Again, if you have any questions or just want to say hey, I'd love if you drop it in chat, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.